Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this new session of the morning briefing. Let's start with a potty recap of yesterday, as we usually do. The day essentially started with a bit of a decline beginning from the opening of the regular trading hours and continued throughout the morning, only to start reversing shortly after the opening of the American markets, and with a good recovery that brought prices back to the SD1 and SD0 areas, with some speculation about a move towards HV, which eventually happened on some futures that we follow. However, the market then returned to decline, only for the news of an upcoming meeting on tariffs between China and the United States to hit the market after the close, suggesting a possible agreement that immediately led to a recovery in stocks. As we can see here, it practically covered the entire range of yesterday's trading day at the opening of the regular trading hours, and then started to pull back a little. At the moment, we are currently working exactly and precisely between RD and RD1, so the tone remains very positive indeed, and we need to wait because today is a crucial, important day indeed. This evening at 8 European time, we have the FOMC, so maximum attention is extremely required. Today, we will likely witness a highly volatile and significant day with movements, but with a particular focus on this event awaiting us in the evening. Perfect. Having said that, let's move on to look at things from a more operational point of view. This is the new tool I'm working on, the new algorithm that I will calmly present, which will give you access to a whole series of other information and truly infinite trading possibilities. It's a professional tool. Indeed, it will be part of the new pro service I intend to launch, because this is a tool, an algorithm that you can insert wherever you want and have real-time levels, and you have the entire situation at a glance in real time. You also have statistical references on how to exploit it. I will make videos on how to exploit it from an operational point of view. Maybe if I can, I'll do it today at the opening and then post it on YouTube. Okay, let's get back to us. Sorry for this brief digression. It's just to justify what you see, which might not be what you have in front of you, but essentially we have the same levels, which are these here, which are today's, and at the moment we are working within, as we were saying, the area of the BC3 levels. We are working above HW, so between RD0 and RD1. The level to monitor, in my opinion, is precisely this one. RD1, in short, a potential recovery of RD1, a break on it, a strong return in this area of the BC3 area could easily lead prices to a test of RD2 in the area, of 2150. On the downside, we are obviously monitoring the low recorded today, which is 19.8 for the Nasdaq. In short, I would exclude this blip, but I believe that RD/SDZ is the most important support for today that we need to refer to. Obviously, in short, while waiting for the FOMC, we might also go on to retest levels like HW/EURUSD from above, and then maybe and propose a new upward push. We will see what the developments might be. At the moment, this is the situation for the Nasdaq. Okay, let's obviously also look at the ES levels from a technical point of view. Basically, the situation is similar. Yesterday, it covered the entire range, as we said, for the Nasdaq, going to retest 5690 right near the 57 area. It has returned below, currently working right on RD1. And in my opinion, this is the area, the first obstacle, essentially the first area to watch is this 5640, obviously. And on the downside, we are obviously monitoring this double bottom here, which is beautiful. It seems almost unnecessary to emphasize it. This bottom here and this bottom here that then correspond to SD0 are, it's the level absolutely to monitor. Awaiting the FOMO, we might witness both a test of 5,642 and perhaps even 5,626, maybe an opening to then continue upwards, because I believe that the agreement, if the agreement is made, should definitely be a boost for the stock markets. There is also a major defense plan approved by the United States Congress that involves significant spending, including the expansion of shipyards. So certainly this could be, following this, we might witness new upward pushes. Okay, let's move on to the other two American futures, starting with the Dow Jones. It has also recovered, currently trading above 41,000, which is the level we know we need to maintain. So at this moment, we are monitoring this level here, just a moment while we cut this out, otherwise we might get confused. Okay, let's monitor the HV level concerning the Dow Jones on the downside, which, well, with a little dip obviously made as well, it could also make a little dip to SD0. On the upside, of course, we are monitoring this area here of 21, 41, and 3, which seems quite clear and defined to me, both regarding a well-present BC3 level, which is also a level from yesterday. In short, there's a nice zone. There's the level. There's this other BC3 level. There's the RD2 level. So it's absolutely an area of interest that will surely be defended by the sellers. However, I believe that if pressured, it could certainly provide a nice bullish push. Now let us gradually move on to the famous Russell, and here it is. At the moment, we are fortunately working above the 2000 mark, so this is an important area, as we've said and repeated several times, to maintain on the upside. We are monitoring 214, 214. Yes, well, even though the definitive one is this area between 227 and 235, this is the area to definitively pass for a nice bullish push. However, I repeat, I believe that in the wake of these, also this approval of this military spending, which should attract investments because Trump wants all these productions to be concentrated in the United States, will certainly give good boost to the small and medium American companies that are precisely those represented in the Russell. Obviously to the downside, but let's monitor this double bottom here. It seems really beautiful to me. Around the 1980 area to the upside, we monitor as the first obstacle. We said 2014, the next 203, 2030, and 2035. Okay, let's take a look at the DAX, which has just opened. I expected a bit more bullish momentum following this Chinese agreement that should bring some thawing in this in this tariff scenario, but at the moment, well, it has hit a bit of a ceiling. It opened essentially, yes, with a slight gap up. It opened last night, but essentially it's at the levels of yesterday's cash close, around 5:30 European time. And we are working there, and we'll see if there will be bullish pushes. On the upside, of course, we need to monitor this area here, which corresponds to RD1, and then there's this level BC3, so this is the area to monitor, around 23,510, 23,490 roughly. On the downside, we monitor SD0 because they might also lean on it. It could also be a good opportunity for a purchase, both SD0 and SD1. Okay, let's look at the oil, which has recovered all of the decline, basically after the announcement made by OPEC for the increase in production, which led to a drop. But then in the wake of these new agreements, with an economy that should restart, here the oil begins again. Its path, it has recovered at this moment. We are working around the $60 mark. We are working above RD1, so we have just made a break of yesterday's highs. A retest of the area can easily happen before a new upward movement. To the downside, we are going to monitor 58.90, which seems great to me as it corresponds to yesterday's VIX levels. To the lows of the BC3 range levels, that is the SD0 level. further down, 58.73. Yes, in short, this is the area to monitor. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see what we have left to watch. Obviously the gold, which, well, yesterday as a consequence of this thing, lost a little bit throughout the night. And at the moment, well, the situation is this. We are working in the area of 3,400, so we are attempting a rise above this, let's say, this push-up that then gave the go-ahead to this increase that brought prices to the area of 34 and 44. So we are monitoring this area here of 34, 34 and 10, essentially, which corresponds to RSD 0 at this moment. A new break of this area could bring prices back to the RD1 area. On the downside, obviously we are going to monitor this area here where, well, there is a BC3 level, there is the SD2 level. So we are monitoring this whole area here of 3,370, 3,380 roughly. For any bearish breaks with dips down to the area of 3.3s and 40, even 3.3 and 30 quite easily. Okay. Let's look at SPX, which obviously finds itself in a somewhat similar situation. Probably at the opening, if the situation on the futures remains like this, we could certainly witness an opening with a bullish gap, considering what happened after the close. On the upside, let's definitely monitor this high here, which is the one to surpass at the moment, 5,650, and the next one at 5,680. If these two highs are surpassed, I believe this area will not pose a significant problem for potential bullish attacks up to an area of either 5,730 or maybe 5,750. On the downside, we are monitoring this area here, which includes the lows recorded yesterday, 5,590, 5,580. I believe this is the area that absolutely needs to be monitored. Let's look at Bitcoin, which also, after the closure of the euro markets yesterday and with the announcement of this agreement, benefited and made a nice upward surge, reaching almost 98,000. This corresponds to this entire area of highs recorded last week. It then retraced with quite some vigor, settling on the last available highs before the decline, the resumption of the decline after the recorded highs. This could be the necessary retracement for a possible attempt, likely breaking through the 97,700, 98,000 area, and we might see the price reach the 100,000 area. On the downside, we are obviously monitoring this low recorded this morning during the European session, getting around 5 this morning in the area of 26.96 and 196.2. This is the area to watch, because a break of this area could easily bring prices back to this area here to retest, thus the 95.2 from above. Okay, I also wanted to take a look at the Forex pairs that we might not follow. I don't provide levels, but we could absolutely do so if requests come in. At the moment, the euro dollar is working. On SD0, it moved a little bit last night. It settled on the SD2 area and then recovered. We'll probably see it oscillate in this range with some spikes up to 113.44, and then perhaps act within the range between SD0 and RD0. Meanwhile, this is the dollar-yen, which has also been functioning effectively, operating in the foreign exchange market between RD1 and RD2 quite precisely. It has done this multiple times and is working within this range. Obviously, a break of the 143.30 area could easily lead to a test of 143.80, 144. Absolutely. On the downside, we are obviously monitoring the break of 142.85 with some dips to 142.64, because this could trigger a test of 141.90. Absolutely. Perfect. We have reached the end of this morning briefing. I wish you a happy trading day. As always, pay close attention to the forum this evening. Leave a like on the video. We'll catch up later in the chat, and thank you all for your attention.